Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, the NBA draft is today. So we have an all draft coverage episode for you guys today. First up, we'll be talking about our respective top 3 players that we hope and think the Bulls will draft. Then we'll be getting into players that we think the Bulls should stay away from in the draft. And then lastly, we'll be finishing the show talking about what are the chances that AK and Eversley pick up an additional first round pick in this year's draft. We'll get into all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Locked On Bulls, a member of the Locked On Podcast Network. And before we get into the show, got to talk to you guys about what's coming up. One live NBA draft show is not enough for Locked On. Every show is going live on draft night. So join me and Pat for 15 minutes after our pick on Locked On Bulls on our YouTube for an immediate reaction from your local experts. Subscribe now to Locked On Bulls to make sure you know when we go live. Hit that notification button, people, man. Y'all gotta be notified when we go live. Come on now. Especially, listen, in the summer, y'all may get a lot of random lives, but let's get into the content today. First up, Pat. Hey, I didn't introduce you, by the way. I'm tripping today. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central. We got to get a little bit more professional around here.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. So first up, we're going to talk about 3 players each that we hope and think to see the Bulls are going to draft in this draft tomorrow, man, or tonight. As of this recording, it's tonight. Yeah. What do you think, man?
My 3 right now, and it's very dependent on, because this draft board is so weird, bro. I started after me and you got off the phone and talking about topics and stuff like that. Started looking at the draft boards, right? None of them are the same
changed since last night, but they changed since last night.
Yeah, none of them are the same anymore. Everybody's got a different opinion on where guys are going. But I do still see a couple that still have us going EJ Liddell. If I had to go number 1 player that I think the Chicago Bulls should get, I think EJ Liddell's going to be my number 1. I think we're both in agreement on that. That he can come in and he can give you excellent production right now. And all of these players, to me, right, you kind of have to find a way to get that production out of them this season. My number 2 here, and I didn't find him on nearly as many mock drafts anymore. So I'm a little bit nervous because he's moving up. But I still love Walker Kessler. Love Walker Kessler. And if he falls to the Chicago Bulls, I think that would be a great get, especially right because and you'll notice something with both of these guys. One with P. Will in there, right? Like I think there's going to be kind of a movement as things go on. But if Marco does become this big that we hope that he's going to be, you're looking at a guy who you're going to need to have somebody stand next to and be able to block shots. Because I don't care how much time it takes, how much time he spends. Marko Simonovic probably is not going to end up being a lockdown defender in the eyes of many of these guys.
Now that you said that, watch him all of a sudden turn into a lockdown defender.
Turns into a clamp, right? Like the second I said, listen, the thing that the Breeze is like, it's hard. I look at my channel, I'll be like, it's tough for me to be credible because like my top videos are all me being wrong. Like it's like one is like why the Chicago Bears would be like the most dominant team in the NFC, and it's like in 2021. So like 36,000 views, right? Right now, my top video is a Kai Soto video. So maybe I'll be right for once. Watch him turn into like a perennial superstar that we missed out on. And speaking of Kai Soto, my number 3 is I'm just playing. My number 3, my opinion changed on him as I watched more tape on him. I still can't say his name right, but Ochai Agbaji.
Ochai Agbaji. Yes.
Ochai Agbaji. He's my number 3 right now. I understand he's very young. I understand that he's
actually nice. 22 years old, brother.
Is he 22? I thought he was younger.
He's 22 years old.
I thought he was younger than
That's why he's moving down the draft boards. It's because a lot of the younger kids are moving up.
I would absolutely go get an Ochai Agbaji because I feel like he's a player right now that you're talking about plugging in possibly like at this point, right? It's like DeMar, Zach, and Vooch. And I could absolutely see a three-man tandem of Zach LaVine, Ochai Agbaji, and Patrick Williams being something that the NBA has to worry about. I think that that's a tandem that takes a little bit longer, right? But at 18, you do have to ask yourself, is it better to go best available talent, especially in the NBA, or is it better to go with your need? If you feel Zach LaVine's a superstar, go with your need. If you feel like Zach LaVine's a star level player, you might want to go with best talent available. If Ochai Agbaji falls to us, he's going to be the best talent available at that spot, I believe.
Yeah, depending on who else falls, but I like your list. I respect your list very, especially the Ochai Agbaji, because now I'm saying it wrong. Ochai Agbaji.
I know I'm saying it wrong.
Because like just the way that he improved his game over his years in college.
Yeah.
He has, and I've compared it to this, he has that Jimmy Butler work ethic. So
Yeah.
know he's going to maximize on every bit of the potential he has. He stayed to his senior year. And so, but I'm getting into my own. Let me go ahead with mine. My number one is EJ Liddell. EJ Liddell, ever since I started doing the draft prospect profiles over on Chicago Bulls Central, he was one of the players that stood out to me just because there are some players that you can't pencil in a position. There's some players that you can't pencil in a spot that you just know, hey, listen, no matter what you put them in, they going to find a way to be productive. I truly believe that you could put EJ Liddell as a small ball center, he'll figure it the hell out. That's not an optimal position for him.
I would agree.
But that is he will figure it out. First of all, being 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. His wingspan is 6'11.75. That's 7 feet.
That's 7 feet. That's like KD. That's like KD's height, right? I'm not a 7-footer. Shut up, KD.
Exactly.
I'll say this. If he was to go to Golden State, he would be the center.
Oh, for sure.
That's how he would play. If he were to go to Golden State, he would.
Shut up. Please stop talking about that. Because with the luck that you're talking about, they may draft him, and then imagine this. It'll be Jordan Poole and EJ Liddell, the new Steph and Draymond.
Hey, and Andrew Wiggins.
Let's just stop. Let's stop. Please don't say that. We don't need no more. We don't need them to run the league anymore. But EJ Liddell, just looking at the way that he plays, looking at his motor, right? He's a player that you can believe in. The fact that he can shoot the three, the fact that he can put the ball on the floor some, the fact that he's not the greatest like lockdown defender, but he's an active defender who's going to stay in front of his man. He's going to bring toughness right away, vocal. Like EJ Liddell is not, he doesn't have any one great skill other than his motor. He's going to go out there and play basketball. He's a basketball player. So EJ Liddell is my number one, absolutely. Number two, I'm going Nikola Jovic here. And that's because I don't know if I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I completely believe in his upside. I truly believe, and I said this before, I think it was over on Chicago Bulls Central. Don't be surprised if 5 years from now, everybody's saying that Nikola Jovic is the best prospect to come out of this draft.
I'm not as high. You know what, though? I know
you're not. Yeah.
I can't say I'm not as high. I'll say this.
Yeah.
Only reason I question it is because isn't that what Marco's supposed to become? I don't want to draft what we have. That's my only question mark.
Well, the thing is that I look at it this way, is that it's different. Yes, they have similar skill sets, but there's different tiers within skill sets. Nikola Jovic's tier is far above what I think Marko Simonovic is going to be. I think Marko can be a solid double guy in the NBA, but I look at Nikola Jovic as a player that you look at one day, and I think Nikola Jovic, if he fills out, is going to be more of a center than a power forward, but we'll see what happens with his body there. But I look at Nikola Jovic, whether he ends up being a long-term 4 or 5, whatever happens, just the fact that he has a little bit of everything and does them all, like whereas EJ Liddell does a little bit of everything and doesn't excel at any one of them per se.
Yeah.
Nikola Jovic, you can see doing a little bit, like being one of those players. It's like, damn, how can you, like, he's a creative player. Like, I can see him turning in there. But I will say this. I do think it's going to go one of two ways with Nikola Jovic. I think it's going to go either he's a superstar or a bust. I don't see it being nothing in the middle.
He's either Jokic or Mirotic. Is that
that's the route we're going with it.
Here's the question mark: can the NBA deal with more than one Nikola in the league at the same time? Because I don't think we've been able to.
Yeah, technically, we got 2 Nikolas right now.
Oh, that's true. We got Jokic and Vooch. It's true. All right, I'm already out. I'm wrong.
Yeah, there you go. Lastly, but not least, I'm gonna go different here because I did have Ochai Agbaji as my number 3, but I threw in an alternate because I figured you may have it just for the interest of conversation. Malachi Branham is my number 3 there. And because of what he brings defensively, what he could bring offensively, and if you look at a player, if we do get rid of Kobe White, we think either way we're both in agreement that Kobe White's he's now not long for the Chicago Bulls team. He's a player that can come in that position, be better defensively right away, and I think has similar offensive upside with that better defense. That much like what you said with Ocha, and we both said, is that I think that we could very well at some point be talking about. Now, I don't know that he'll be able to start next to Zach, but we're talking about, hey, you got Zach LaVine and then Malachi's coming off the bench. Y'all get no breaks. You get no breaks at all. So
it's so weird, bro. Like, like I don't know if you've ever like just looked at the players that are in this draft. It's all like undersized guys with ridiculously long wingspans and huge hands.
Yeah.
It's so weird, this draft, bro. I'm just like, are we finna get an influx of Bobby Portis into the NBA next season? Like, is that what's happening right here? Are we getting so 37 Daniel Gaffords out here?
That's wild, bro.
Oh man. I like the list though, bro. I like the list. I think here's the thing, right? How much separation do you think there is between any of them? I don't feel like with any of the names we said, there's a huge amount of separation. Now, maybe you're a little bit higher on Jovic, but I feel like we're all kind of in that same player mindset bunched up, except for maybe Ochai Agbaji. Yeah. He might be a little bit more in the NBA. But I feel like everybody's like, yep, that guy's going to be 17 and 8.
Yeah. It's not high on superstar potential, but this draft is very deep on just solid players that could develop into maybe borderline stars. But there's a lot of players that are projected to be in the NBA for a long. I wouldn't be surprised if we look back at this draft and this has one of the bigger percentages of players that end up sticking in the NBA.
One of the deepest drafts in the NBA. I would agree with that. I'd agree with that.
All right. So next up, we're going to get into players that we now think the Bulls should avoid in this draft. But first, got to talk to you guys about Arcade One Up. Boom shakalaka. Come on. Say it with me. Pat, say it.
Boom shakalaka.
There you go. We got big news. The one and only NBA Jam is back. Arcade One Up, the leader in at-home retro games, is not only bringing the best game ever back, but they've made it bigger than ever with a wait for it, Shaq Edition. People are obsessed with NBA Jam, and I'm thrilled to tell our listeners that you can once again play hoops with NBA legends in the classic arcade game. Jump clear across the court and set the ball on fire in one of the first sports games ever to feature real and digitized NBA licensed teams. No fouls, no free throws, no court. Sounds like how we play on the court. That's how we play. Compete with friends and family through all new Wi-Fi leaderboards, making you more connected than ever before. Pre-order now from Arcade One Up. That's Arcade, the number one up.com for an estimated early September ship date. Arcade One Up is the place for fun. They've got even more classics like Golden Tee, Mortal Kombat, and many others starting at just $3.99. Check this out. They're giving away an NBA Jam Shaq Edition to a Locked On listener. Enter for a chance to win a game console for your man cave at arcade1up.com/lockedon. That's arcade, the number one up.com/lockedon. You've got till July 8th to enter to win NBA Jam Shaq Edition console. Don't miss out. Enter today. Who you gonna play with? Who you gonna play with, Pat?
I already said I gotta go Lakers, bro. Especially because was it you that was telling me that like was it Jordan? Jordan's not in the game.
Jordan's
right?
not in the game.
Jordan's not in the game. So I was like, if Jordan's not in the game, like you can't go Bulls. I'm doing Pippen and BJ Armstrong. Nah, let me get. Although BJ, I will say this: if you're an NBA Jam player, hey, let me know in the comments below. BJ was cold. BJ was a spark.
That's hilarious, man. But all right, let's get into the next topic. So we talked about players that we want to see the Bulls and hope that the Bulls do draft tonight in the draft. But now we got to talk about the flip side of that. Unfortunately, there's always a downside to everyone. There's always some busts in every single draft. Now, we both said that we do think this may be a draft that ends up being quite deep. But who are some of the players that you think the Bulls should stay far, far away from when it comes to this draft?
I think the way the caveat that we got to let everybody know, this does not mean that we think these ones are going to fail. Although there probably will be some that do. But for me anyway, it's more so about there's enough question marks on you that I don't want my team to draft you. The player for me on that is Patrick Baldwin.
Oh, we are in alignment there, my brother.
And he has been rumored to the Chicago Bulls quite a bit. He's out of Milwaukee. He went to UWM Milwaukee. he was one of, and I can say this for a fact. I've seen him up close, and I've seen if he went out of high school, he
He
would
would
have
have
been a
been top
lottery.
15. Yeah, for
He'd
sure.
have been a lottery pick. But because of last season, dealing with some injury, being unable to play when he was able to play, did not play at his best, did not get the job done, didn't shoot the ball very well. There's enough question marks on him that I want the Chicago Bulls to stay far away from him. Will that be something that I may regret? Yeah, because he could absolutely be a boom player. Again, like when I tell you, he looked like going into college, he could do everything. And he's 6'8", or I'm sorry, 6'10".
6'10",
He's
yeah.
only 19 years old. I believe he's got a 6'11" wingspan. Really, really solid player, but there's enough question marks around him that I feel like you could get a player that, yeah, might not have nearly as high of ceiling, might not be as big of a player in the NBA if it does pan out, but can still be a solid player in the draft, and you can feel good about what you got. Plus, right, like how many boom or bust players can you have? Like we're still kind of hoping for that with P. Will. We're still hoping for boom on P. Will. I think we've seen enough to be like, okay, it might be more boom than bust, but we're still hoping for boom from P. Will. So I would avoid Patrick Baldwin in that situation.
Listen, my co-host, my dude, my brother, Pat, just said everything very politically correct. I'm not gonna give you that. Listen, Patrick Baldwin's gonna be a bust. That's Chandler Hutchison 2.0. I don't care. Like I have no at all qualms with saying this. Like Patrick Baldwin is Hutch 2.0. Another man's trash. I'm sorry, and I hope that he never sees this. And God forbid I'm gonna have to eat some crow if he becomes a Chicago Bull, because then I'm gonna have to root for him after going in on him right now. But Patrick Baldwin has the highest bust potential of any player in this draft. Stay far away from Patrick Baldwin. I've seen the tape. I've watched it. I've tried to convince myself, like, oh, he does some things great, right? But he's slow. Like, honestly, I'm surprised. Like, a player that I think is comparable, but I think is a better IQ basketball player is, I saw Kyle Anderson's foot speed and I was like, I don't necessarily see it for him. He went to prove me wrong. So hopefully Patrick Baldwin can prove me wrong. But I'm putting the Haize stamp of approval or of disapproval on this one. Stay far away from Patrick
Now,
Baldwin.
what'd you watch on him? This is the question mark. This is why I say this, right? What did you watch on him? Because he chose to play through injury.
This is true.
Which is a real reason why he didn't. Because if you look at him in high school and you look at him in college, yes, I understand the competition is completely different, but he doesn't move the same. He's not moving the same. He's not reacting.
Patrick Baldwin looks like light-skinned Tony Snell.
Nah.
Yes.
Nah, now we're getting disrespectful.
I don't care, bro.
Now we're getting disrespectful. I just here's the thing, right? I still want the Bulls to stay away from him, and I feel like I'm gonna eat crow on it because I think he could pan out, but I have so many questions around what you can do against higher competition, because when I saw you against higher competition, right? Like there's no reason I can't believe that you're not gonna play through injury when you're in the NBA versus higher competition. But what I will say is I also can acknowledge that he tried to do like I'm gonna put my team ahead of me, and it hurt him.
I can agree with that.
It hurt his draft stock. It hurt the kind of player that he probably would have been looked at as, and I feel like he's a better player than what we saw. But even that, right, I still have questions on the ceiling on that. But I mean, we'll see. I'm not gonna go as hard as you did.
Hey, listen, I don't expect you to, bro. You're a little bit more politically correct than I am. I'm crazy. I always say that. I'm crazy. But next one on my list, and this is gonna get us some fire. Listen, I know they're gonna be in the comments. I want the Chicago Bulls to say far away from Kai Sotto. Just far away.
He's not even. Bro,
I have to mention it, bro. Like, please stay far away from Kai Sotto.
I mean, Kofi, like none of these guys are even in the realm of first round. So hey, listen, they have no choice but to stay far away from him unless we get a late second round pick. Now, I'll ask you this, right? I'll ask you this as we get into the next topic. If we get that late second round pick, would you be okay with it?
No.
Okay.
No, there is no position other than him paying the Chicago Bulls to come play for us that I would take. Honestly, and this is the thing. I look at, like, I look at a player like Kendall Brown, Christian Coloco. These are players that I would in the second round. Marjon Beauchamp is now expected to be a second round pick. These are all players that I think that are going to still be better than Kai Sota, and that I would rather take a shot on. Orlando Robinson as well.
Breaking news on the show here.
What we got?
Way. Not Bulls related, but we avoid them now. I wasn't worried about him. Detroit has traded Jeremy Grant to Portland for a 2025 first round pick via Milwaukee. Kobe White's stock going up, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I'm telling you guys. Wow. Okay.
We got a Woj bomb on the show. We got to get a bomb drop in this mug. Detroit is swaps 2022 second round picks, getting 36 for 46 with Portland 2. Denver gets a 2025 second round pick back from Portland, and Portland sends the most favorable 2026 second round pick between Portland and New Orleans to Detroit.
That's okay.
Is Detroit better or worse?
Worse, absolutely. That's wild. Okay, well, there you go. We got our Woj bomb on the show. That was unexpected, but hey, I wonder. So that you said they got a first round pick back?
They got a first round pick for Jeremy Grant
in this year's draft.
In the 2025 draft.
Okay, well, I don't care. I don't care about that right now. I don't want no more movement.
Yeah, 2025, and they got a second round pick back for this year's draft.
Wow, Milwaukee gets
for 46.
Milwaukee gets Jeremy Grant.
Milwaukee, no, Portland.
Oh yeah.
The pick is from Milwaukee.
The pick is from Milwaukee. All right, well that's to be expected. They've been trying to add around
Jeremy Grant to Milwaukee. It's just like, all right, we're all in the paint. What are we doing?
But you know what? Shout out to this. This takes another Zach LaVine candidate or rumored candidate off the board. I'm telling you, everything is pointing to everybody that people have said to be interested in Zach LaVine. They are now being informed that Zach LaVine isn't available and they're moving on.
No, but wasn't the deal to Portland supposed to be Zach and Jeremy Grant? And
no, they can't do both.
Jeremy Grant doesn't make that much.
Jeremy Grant doesn't make that much. Go back and look at his contract, brother.
How much is Jeremy Grant making? He's not making max money.
No, he's not making max money.
Jeremy Grant's making like 20-something mil a year, ain't he?
That's not that much money, brother.
I mean, it's not bad for a third option. That's like paying Zach, DeMar, and Vooch.
Listen. But he is not good as any of those players.
No, not at all. No, he's but 3 years, 60 million. Yeah, 20 million.
Let's move on. We got to get into the next. Oh wait, you got to do this last topic, bro. Yeah. Well, let's get into the last topic of the day. Let's get into it. All right. Wow, Woj bomb dropped on the show. All right. Now, with that being said, and I guess this is a good way to transition into it. You keep everything that we see keeps telling us and letting us know that Kobe White's trade value isn't as low as some people thought. So, what are the chances that we're given that AKME, and this is saying that they keep their pick, not they trade down, but that they get an additional late first round pick? What chances are you giving it?
If you're gonna move Kobe, I would say that you're probably going to try to replace that youth. So I would give it a 45% chance. It kind of high, but not really super high, right? Because like I like Kobe getting you a pick back, but it's also about, does a team feel like they want to give a pick for Kobe? I think Kobe's worth a draft pick right now, but the question mark comes in, do they want to give a pick for Kobe in this year's draft? So I'm gonna go on the higher end of the low end, if that makes sense. So 45%.
Okay. I'm giving this. I really, since we talked about putting this on here, have thought about this and mulled all over it. I think that it's more than likely them getting a first round pick than not, especially if they do move Kobe. So I'm gonna put a 55% chance on it.
Okay.
I said that when we do our live draft show, live draft show tomorrow, we're talking about the Bulls not only taking a high upside player, but also taking a more sure thing right now.
Yeah. It's not a bad draft to do it right, because the thing that we've said is that one, the Bulls need to build out their bench. Two, the Bulls have multiple needs that they need to go after. And as far as shooting wise, right? Like, I don't know if there's a player shooting wise that you feel is going to give you that, unless Ochai Agbaji does make it to us. If he falls in the draft, right, that might be a situation where the Bulls move Coby White, because I feel like in that situation, right, if Ochai Agbaji falls near us in the draft, that means that a lot of people have moved down in the draft. And you can feel like you can get them later in the draft. That'll be a situation where maybe AK goes after the guy that, okay, this guy's going to be a nice wing player. He can shoot a little bit. He can do a few things for us. And on top of that, now we can go get either, probably not an EJ Liddell if you pick him there, but maybe one of those lower guys that is falling, Atari Eason or something like that.
Depends on how low you fall, because EJ Liddell may still be there in the 20s, somewhere in the 20s, high 20s.
It depends on what kind of pick. I mean, what range do we think Coby White gets you, right? Do we feel like Coby White gets you a 20s pick? Or does Coby White feel more like a early second round pick? To me, Coby feels kind of like more a early second round pick, a very late first round pick. So like 29, 28 in the first round. I don't think EJ Liddell will still be on the board at that point. If EJ Liddell is still on the board at that point, AK probably is pulling the trigger on a trade.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I agree with that. I was just looking at something like a player that I was pretty high on. Jalen Williams now is in the projected to go in the second round in a few mocks.
Mocks are so, bro. Mocks,
listen, and that's why I try to look at so many mocks, because I try to use it to get like an average.
Yeah, bro. Like, mocks be wild, bro. It'd be like, how you feeling about him that day?
Exactly. And then some mocks, honestly, I don't think really take into consideration the needs of the team. I really do think they, after like the lottery, they just start looking at, oh, there's the best available. That's the next best available.
I tell you what mock everybody need to be looking at, and it's not because I'm on the Locked On network right now.
Oh, come on.
What they do at the Locked On big board, bro? Fire. If you're not watching Raphael break that mess down, bro, fire. This is not because I'm on the network. It's not a plug or nothing. I've actually used this information for the Breeze. Haize has used this for Chicago Bulls Central. Like, I know it, bro. Like if you're gonna look at a mock, like, that's the first one I've been going to lately, because I'm like, bro, like, these mugs are plugged. Like, where are they getting this information from?
Bro, like his Raphael's sources, like, bro, he's lying in some pockets. Like, I don't even know.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, shout out to Raphael Bartlow, because that man, listen, some of the information he is the Woj of the NBA draft.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. So make sure y'all go check him out. We just gave a big hype up segment on this mug, man. Shout out to Raphael, man. You're doing great things out here. Keep the work up, brother. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, right? Like, I think when you're looking at this, where these guys are gonna end up finding the right piece for the Bulls, you got to be around 20, 24, 23. Do you think Coby gets you that? I think he could. High
it
for
depends.
Me. You think Kobe's that high?
It depends. Like, hold on. Let me see who's low in the draft. Right. Let's see who's low in the draft. Okay. Listen. This is what I'm saying. Listen here. Do you think Golden State takes Kobe for the 28th pick and turns Kobe into the next running mate for? I don't want to see that. But yeah, I look at Houston at 26. They could possibly take a look at Kobe.
But I don't know if EJ falls that far. That's my question. That's
EJ. So EJ
or
right
EJ
now,
or EJ or Tari, if they fall to 26.
Here's the thing. So EJ right now, honestly, the lowest that I see him going in updated drafts. Yesterday was different. He was going like the first round, the first pick in the second round.
Yeah.
Most of them just skimming through now. 24 to Milwaukee.
That's what I kind of figured too, because he's somebody that can step in, and I think Milwaukee's getting to the point where.
But here's what I'm saying though.
Go ahead.
I'm about to say is that we're hearing that a lot of teams are shopping Philly shopping that 23 pick, trying to get rid of that. Would you keep in mind they keep their 18th pick? Is it worth taking Matisse Thybulle's contract for Coby White to then still be able to draft EJ Liddell?
I get the pick with Thybulle?
You get the pick. There's for everything that's
I
being
get the pick
reported,
with
they're
Thibault, it's
shopping them
worth it.
together.
If
Together.
I get the pick with Thibault, it's worth it. But is that what's Thibault's contract right now?
I don't pay attention to
Is he on
those
is he
contracts.
still on the rookie you did?
I don't think so.
Matisse Thybulle contract right now. He's
Woo!
on
Yeah, $3 million.
Yeah, $3 million. Yeah, no.
Well,
Dang,
yeah.
they would have to send us the pick because Kobe makes more than that.
Yeah.
Kobe was a lottery pick. Jesus.
So here's what I'm asking you. Again, now Matisse Thybulle, we've talked about the potential in this first rumor that the Bulls are interested. End of bench player at the most, right? He's not getting paid much, so forget it. But is it worth it? Let's even say, because Walker Kessler could also, let's say the Bulls don't want to risk it on EJ Liddell. They take EJ Liddell at the 18th.
Yeah.
They then go and get up Walker Kessler with the pick that they can get from Philly at 23.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can because if you're trading Kobe and you're bringing back Matisse Thybulle, you basically said we don't plan on shooting the basketball. Because EJ can shoot, but I don't want to.
But keep in mind, by doing that, the Bulls still have the full mid-level exception. They still have a trade player. Technically, they can absorb Thybulle with their trade player exception. But so we could be talking about not even like there's a chance of that.
But that means at that point, right now, you're relying on your entire backcourt help being from guys that just got into the NBA.
No, but that's why I said mid-level exception. They can still use their mid-level exception to then go out and fill. Because think about it, at that point, you filled your backup 3-4. You filled your backup 5 with Walker Kessler. You then have $10 million that could be spread out amongst multiple players to go find a 3D player.
That's tough for me. That would be tough for me.
That's fair.
That would be tough for me because not to say Kobe's great, right? But Kobe at least gives you the threat of shooting. And I get like Mark Eversley really wants Thybulle to be that. And it's not that I wouldn't take the trade for Kobe, but I feel like with that second pick, you would have to go get you a shooter. You would have to go get somebody that you think is going to be able to knock down shots for you. I don't think you could go EJ and
well, that's why I say it's not like that. You don't have to fill every need in the draft, brother. So what are you doing with your $10 million mid-level except because you don't need another big at that point?
Who you signing though?
I haven't really taken a look at major free agents because I've been so focused on the draft coverage.
And that's it's not a great you dig for just signing knockdown. I guess you could find one, right? But like at that point, hey, Matt Thomas, what you doing this weekend? You know what I'm saying? Like that would be tough for me. And it would also be tough for me saying that you got Thybulle, you do have EJ Liddell, and then on top of that, you add in Walker Kessler. You're talking about at least Thybulle comes in as a defensive clamp. You know what he's going to be. The other two, while I believe they have incredible upside in the NBA, and I believe that they will give you good impact to start things off, you're putting a lot of faith in dudes that have never dribbled an NBA basketball to be the solid pieces that come into a game and give you legitimate minutes right off the bat when you're trying to make a deeper run in the NBA playoffs this year. I think that would be putting a lot on Walker and EJ.
I mean, them getting drafted either way, if you draft either one of them, they're playing the same role. Like, I mean, so they're going to get a lot put on them no matter where they go.
But not at the same time. Like you're talking about literally putting a lineup out there where it's like EJ and Walker. All right, y'all cover the paint. Y'all go stop the best people in the world.
I guess I see it as a broader thing than you, because I don't see it as that's your only move. At that point, you still got $15 more million to try to do something with. So it's not like it's.
Are you gonna go to big there, right? Because if you go to big there, now you're taking away minutes from these dudes that you hope develop into something.
Well, you got to let them earn their minutes, right? EJ's probably going to be the one that you play right away, but with especially a big and Walker Kessler. Yeah, they usually suffer from foul trouble. So do you bring in a Hassan Whiteside that's on a $2 million contract to at least be a little bit more of a again, not somebody you're betting on, but I'm just saying it's options out there, brother.
Hey, if it's $2 million, you pay $2 million too much. But I bring them in for a Portillo sandwich and a. Now you get a regular milkshake. I was gonna say a chocolate cake shake, but that's a little high. That's a little too high.
See, Hold your horses there, brother.
It's
But all right, man, let's go ahead. We get into all type of speculation, man. This is interesting conversation, bro. But I do think I do think the Bulls are gonna what they do with the extra pick, we'll see. But I do think once you hear that the Bulls are actively shopping Kobe White, to me, that means to me that he has to be gone by the start of the season.
He's on the phone right now. AK's like, so
no, I mean AK may be done with it. He may be like, hey, we will announce it when I say we're going to announce it.
I said this on the breeze yesterday, bro. I said everybody's speculating this Kobe White trade is coming. What if Kobe White's the only one left? Like everybody else that we speculate, nobody's gonna be here. Bulls are gonna get it done. Zach LaVine's gonna be here. We're starting the season next season with Kobe White as our starting two guy.
Oh God, no. God, please,
bro. I said, Mud's going a little hard on Kobe White. Watch him stick around. You just be looking at him like Pac up in Juice.
Yeah, Kobe cannot be here at the start of the season. We'll see. We'll see, though, man. We'll see. But go ahead, Pat, man. Give him social media. Let's get up out of here, bro.
Hey, man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls, and of course, follow me at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love, man.
All right, you can follow me at CEO Haize at CEO Haize. Thank you so much for making Locked On Bulls your first listen today. Now for your second listen, go and check out NBA Mock Draft, which we just gave you a plug for it. Go and check out what they do over there. Locked On NBA Big Board. Listen, they got you covered everywhere. That's just period. Sure. They got you covered. Go and listen to that. Prepare yourself for the draft tonight. We will see you guys again tonight when we go live after the draft, giving you your live episode. It will technically be the Friday episode. So when you see us live Thursday night during the draft, don't be wondering, hey, why do they release the same episode Friday? Because that's it. That's your Friday episode. But that is it from us for today. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls, and we'll see you lovely and beautiful people tomorrow. Peace out.
Peace.